before we jump into all of that, I'd like to talk about the platforms. Where can you find us? Where can we find you? Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are the usual suspects. If you check us out there, search Hot News Talk Radio. Those are your keywords. We're the first thing that comes up. We'd love to hear from you. We love the responses that we get from our listeners. Radio is now not just a one-way street. You can check out our news stories as well. If you want to stream the show, you can check us out on YouTube. We stream all of our shows live. Just search Hot News Talk Radio and click on the Listen Live button to see what I look like, or Mr. Tulis, or Russell, or any of our local hosts. Check us out. And because there's always an and here, you can also check us out on hotnewstalkradio.com, our very own website, where we don't just have our content streaming live 24/7, 365, but we have great deals from local establishments in the area, as well as the TuneIn Radio app. Search Hot News Talk Radio there as well in your favorite app store, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google, whether it's BlackBerry. If you've got the BlackBerry phone, why would you have the BlackBerry phone? But what if you did? If you did, that's okay. We're in that app store too. Search Hot News Talk Radio in the TuneIn Radio app and the Bloom Sky app for your best in local weather. Bloom Sky is a partner of Hot News Talk Radio. So I'd like to talk about the biggest fools in sports, because what we constitute as foolish in a lot of scenarios is sometimes just a person in a phase of their life. Sometimes it's just a person in the wrong place at the wrong time. And sometimes you just don't like the guy. Like, they're just people you don't like. And the truth is just admitting, you know what? You don't like them. There's nothing that they can do to make you like them. You just don't like them. This does not make them foolish, though. Okay, I think that Lane Kiffin is one of those guys. And by the way, I'm no fan of Lane Kiffin. I mean, I rag on the guy once a month. It's very easy. I have not forgotten his tenure here. I don't think anybody will forget his tenure here. It was awful. He did a lot of talking and not a whole lot of winning, and that doesn't ever add up. Same thing for Will Muschamp in Florida. You just run your mouth and say stuff and make people mad, and then when you don't deliver on the thing that you're supposed to deliver on, which as a coach of a football team is victories, you're going to be run out of town very quickly. And that is a foolish choice to do that, to go up with that bravado before you've done anything, right? Like, Nick Saban can start doing that now. He won't, because that's not in his personality. Nick Saban's just going to continue to grump at the media. That's what he loves to do best. Just say grumpy things towards us, and we just sort of take it because he's Nick Saban. But that's the point. He's done the winning necessary to back up the talking. That would be the smarter avenue of the two. We're looking at the University of Arkansas. We see Brett Bielema, and Arkansas has had some good seasons, right? Like, just some winning seasons, solid quality seasons. They're not exceptional, but they don't stink either. So Brett Bielema is that kind of in that same mold of a Lane Kiffin, of a Will Muschamp, where he just talks and talks and talks. And Brett Bielema's a little bit more verbose than even the two of them. Like, he will say things that you got to think twice, sometimes even three times about, because you're like, did he really just say that? And you almost can't believe it. And do not put those guys on that list, because you don't like them because they talk a lot. They talk a lot of trash, and you don't like them, so you put them on the list. But they're not fools. This is a list exclusive to people who are foolish. Other people I don't want to put on the list. D'Angelo Russell with the Lakers. I've been hearing him pop up on social media and in other news sources as, you know, he's one of the fools in sports that you can talk about on April Fool's Day. Like, here's one of the fools in sports. But D'Angelo Russell's 19. And I can't honestly look at a 19-year-old's behavior and go, that's foolish. He's 19. Didn't you do stupid stuff at 19 years old? Didn't you? Because I did. I did stupid stuff at 19. And I'm not even a person that got into like trouble, really, because I didn't leave my house. I was kind of a recluse. And even I still almost got in trouble with the police, like just from my house where I didn't leave the house to do anything. Okay, there's a whole story there. We don't have to go into it. But the point is, at 19 years old, I got in trouble. Almost got in trouble because of a stupid thing and a cell phone, right? And D'Angelo Russell, what did he do? A stupid thing with a cell phone. 19-year-olds are not stupider now than 19-year-olds have always been. I mean, 19-year-old men specifically have always been not the brightest people. They've always been very much out there in terms of their decision making. You can't trust the 19-year-old boy to make good decisions usually. There are incredible stories, especially stories from those vets that had to go to World War II and had to grow up incredibly fast, where, yeah, they made great decisions at 18, 19 years old. They're not the rule, they're the exception. That one generation that had to grow up that fast, they're the exception. Most generations, 19-year-olds, not bright. Just not bright, okay? What you have done to this generation of 19-year-olds is you've put technology in their hands. So now they get to broadcast the stupid that was already there. This is not new. You don't get to come down on D'Angelo Russell for being 19 and having a cell phone. He didn't do something malicious. And I don't want to hear about this bro code. He broke a bro code. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. If he did it, I mean, that's a silly argument. Absolutely silly, because Nick Young cheated on Iggy Azalea. Nick Young did the wrong here. Period. End of story. We don't have to go through the whole bro code thing. That's ridiculous to me. I don't understand that as a concept when it comes to a guy did wrong, so you're going to cover it up and defend him. Like, that's why. What is wrong with accountability? So no, we don't get to throw D'Angelo Russell into the list of fools or people who make decisions at a young age that don't make any sense. Okay, people you do get to toss in are Plaxico Burress, who shot himself with a gun that was unregistered and therefore went to jail for shooting himself with an unregistered gun because he had a Glock in his pocket in a club. That is prime foolishness right there. You can't top that. All of the elements combined perfectly that you get to go to jail on a gun charge. The gun charge wasn't you shooting somebody else. The gun charge was you shooting you, and it was a gun that you had in your pocket in a club. What do you need with that? And it's not like he didn't have an entourage of guys around him whose job it is to also watch his back. So what do you need the gun for? Like, what is the point of having an entourage if you're going to be the one carrying around the unregistered, unlicensed gun? I mean, come on. How silly of a decision could you possibly make there? Okay? Biggest fools in sports. It's just, I don't want to be, mean to a guy like a Dak Prescott or anything like that. Dak Prescott is, former quarterback of Mississippi State. We're all familiar with him. He's very good. He's like a more mobile Donovan McNabb. I feel like that's a compliment. I like Donovan McNabb's career. I think he had a good career. But, I mean, he got arrested for a DUI a few months back. And this is Dak Prescott, who's never been in trouble with the law before. Just the timing of it is you're entering the NFL draft. And the young man out of Missouri, Shane Ray, last year, had the same thing. Got popped for having marijuana like 2 months out from the draft. That's foolish decision making. Like, it can't wait until after teams have decided to give you millions of dollars. It can't wait. I don't understand. Like, if I'm coming up to the NFL draft, all the stuff that I used to do, all the stuff that I do could be seen as silly by a team, I just stopped doing it for like at least 3 months. Get drafted first. Get the money first. Am I wrong there? I don't think I'm wrong there. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio Clutch with Keon Rose, talking about fools in the world of sports. And I've got one for you right now that's a little unconventional because I don't think anybody would think of them as foolish. And certainly their recent behavior is foolish. That would be the Denver Broncos. That the Denver Broncos went to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 seasons, and they did the thing where they go short term, right? Because your job is to win championships, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Your job, whether you're the head of player personnel, you're a player, you're a coach, your job is to win championships. Nobody cares about almost getting there. You either get there or you don't get there. If you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl in the short term, you take it because you can't guarantee yourself long-term success. If you aren't there short term, you've got to look at this logically and go, okay, I don't have the short-term ability to win a championship right now. I'm going to start to build towards long-term success. And then you start the rebuilding process of drafting the right pieces, hiring the right coach, getting the right GM that's going to draft the right pieces and the right coach. So you're trying to angle yourself towards long-term success if right now you realize you can't even get the short term. Presumably, you'd want to get both, but it doesn't always work out that way. So the Broncos went for the short-term success. They got it. I mean, they got to the Super Bowl. That's exactly what you want. But everything that they have done since has been nothing short of foolish, okay? From how long they took to let Peyton Manning decide if he was coming back, to how they treated Brock Osweiler, to now they're asking Colin Kaepernick to take a pay cut to come be a Denver Bronco. What? Wait. What? Let's back it up here. First off, the decision to let Peyton Manning decide whether or not he wanted to come back, I understand that that's respect to Peyton. But if Peyton decided not to retire, you were going to cut him the instant he decided he was going to not retire, because you didn't want his giant contract on your books and you didn't think that he had the physical capability to do it again. So that leads to the second problem, how you treated Brock Osweiler, because you've got Brock Osweiler who wants the team that he's playing on to kind of court him a little bit, to say, hey, we're looking for you, bud. We want you to be a member of this team. We want to build around you, but you can't do that because you've got to wait on Peyton, who you were going to cut if he decided not to retire. So now Brock Osweiler's feeling a little hot under the collar. You then turn around and offer Brock Osweiler less money than he feels he's worth. Granted, you're not doing it to be rude. You don't have the cap space. But if you realize that you don't have the cap space, then you've got to jump on that negotiation early. You didn't. The Houston Texans swoop in underneath you, pay him a little bit more money, and take him from you. So now you have no quarterback. I mean, you've got quarterbacks, but I mean, like, nobody good. Now you're just reaching for straws. You're acting confident like you've got anywhere to go. You're reaching for Colin Kaepernick, who may or may not be any good anymore. We have no idea. And you're doing the same thing to Colin Kaepernick that you're doing to Brock Osweiler, or did to Brock Osweiler, where you're asking him to take less money. If Colin Kaepernick does nothing, okay, he stays a San Francisco 49er, he doesn't do anything at all, he makes $12 million. Why are you asking him to take $4 million? Why are you asking him to cost himself $8 million? Okay? And to some people, Colin Kaepernick going to Denver with an opportunity to win, that would be worth the $8 million. It's obviously not worth it to him. Okay? Colin Kaepernick has what we like to call quarterback arrogance. Okay? But it's not just quarterback arrogance. It's really superstar arrogance. Quarterback arrogance, superstar arrogance, and in a lot of ways, coaching arrogance, which is that I can play anywhere. I'm good enough that you put me in any system, I'll make it work. Why would he have to go to Denver for that then? So now the Denver Broncos, who just came off a Super Bowl, are a team with a very good defensive unit, a very good offensive unit. That offensive line's got problems, but quite frankly, if Peyton Manning could survive back there the way with his mobility this past season, anybody probably could. If you're even slightly mobile and you get rid of the ball quickly enough, you probably could survive back there, okay? Even Brock Osweiler had a winning record behind that offensive line despite its problems. So you've got a good enough offensive unit to win. You've got Demaryius Thomas. You've got all kinds of weapons all over the place. Emmanuel Sanders. You've got the weapons. So now it just comes down to putting a quarterback in that place, and the Denver Broncos are left holding the bag. They've got nobody. They've got nobody. And because they won the Super Bowl, they're not going to be able to draft high enough to even take a gamble on a Carson Wentz or a Jared Goff. He's just nothing. They've got nobody. It was just a series of foolish decisions that it seems weird that a team that was being so well run up until that moment would just go unwise decision after unwise decision after unwise decision. That is a little curious to me. No, I'm not going to lie on that one. I cannot understand, nor can I fathom what exactly it was that they were thinking. Okay, but I don't know. So I have that, and then because now we're on the topic of just foolish executives in sports, and I always like to think about sports and the business world as interlocked. It's not an original idea, by the way. If you listen to Colin Cowherd on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, he talks about this a lot too, and many people before him have also done this. But sports, and because sports is a business, when you think of sports as an analogy of a business, it makes a ton of sense. And the Golden State Warriors owner, whose name escapes me at the moment, was talking the other day about the Warriors and how the Warriors being so far ahead of the league was part of their master plan and how they were put together, that this was all planned, the Warriors being this good, being this far ahead of the curve. And it's basically the owner taking credit for himself. He's a venture capitalist. He's run a lot of other successful businesses, and he said he's taken that mindset and he's brought it to the Golden State Warriors. And I understand the arrogance of that statement from him and the deserved arrogance even because of the success of the team. But dude, there's luck involved. And you don't hear other owners doing that, even though you know that other owners feel they are a huge part of their team's success, because they are. But who's out there on the floor playing? Shouldn't that person get most of the credit? Does that not seem ridiculous? You're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. We're talking about fools in the world of sports today on this April Fool's Day. Try not to get pranked. And we'll be back with more sports talk next.
I'm blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds. We'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Fox News Talk 1240. You need a place for your party or maybe a wedding reception for 100 or even more. Maybe you'd like to host a small trade show for your business, and you need a very affordable venue. Are you looking for a place for your birthday gala or services to start up a church? Look no further than the Hidden Gem in Hickson. It's an overlooked, newly appointed reception hall right here in Hickson, Tennessee. Big space, small price. That's right, big space, small price. Call Mr. Chu and ask for a tour. 316-7388. That's 423-316-7388. He'll tell you a lot more about the venue. Rent this venue today. Just call 423-316-7388 and ask for Mr. Chu.
Do you feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses. Prevent fires by cleaning your dryer vents. Mark and his parents, Dick and Joan Thompson, have been building our local economy and helping local people with HVAC systems 16 years. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals. Call 876-9907. 876-9907. Ducts. Call now.
We're going to kill them all. We're going to kill them all. Let them cough. Let them wheeze. Let them sneeze. We're going to kill every one of them.
We're gonna stop you dead in your tracks. Black mold has been known to mimic ailments such as asthma, emphysema, and other ailments that affect the well-being of your body. Black mold is the silent killer. Fight back today with a free estimate from PuroClean. The paramedics of property damage is PuroClean. Call 875-6136 for your free inspection and estimate today. And no, bleach does not kill mold. In fact, bleach is primarily made up of water and adds more moisture to your mold. The mold experts at PuroClean use proven products and state-of-the-art science equipment. They'll remove all traces of that deadly killer black mold. Call PuroClean now at 875-6136. Plus, your homeowner's insurance may cover it. Call PuroClean today at 875-6136.
We're going to kill every one of them.
Not if PuroClean has anything to do with it. Call PuroClean today at 875-6136.
A few widely scattered showers and storms will move through the nighttime, diminishing late, lows near 60. For Friday, some leftover clouds, but drier, still warm out there. Highs lower to middle 70s. For the weekend, more sunshine returning, but much cooler with highs through Sunday staying into the lower 60s. Try Little Caesar's large, hot and ready bacon wrap crust deep dish, wrapped in over 3.5 feet of crispy bacon and hot and ready every day between 4 and 8 p.m. only at Little Caesars. And I'm 12 Chief Meteorologist Patch Report.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
When the weather turns bad, turn to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. On the net, hotnewstalkradio.com. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. From the Hot News Talk Radio Weather Center. Chattanooga, we've got you covered. When the weather turns bad, the Tennessee Valley turns to Hot News Talk Radio.
Go, 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 go. You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio with your Hot News Now update. A Chattanooga cop has been relieved of duty and a TBI investigation has been opened following allegations of sexual assault while on duty. A complaint was filed against Officer Alexander Ego, claiming that he had engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior and sexual assault while he was working. An internal affairs investigation is now working to determine if these claims are true. Tennessee Governor Bill Haslam and TDOT Commissioner John Schroer have released a TDOT's annual 3-year transportation program. Contained within are some fixes for Highway 60 in Bradley County, Appleton Pike in Udwall-Ringgold Road, and a right-of-way budget for fiscal year 2017. And the Cleveland Police Department is now searching for a suspect following an armed robbery on Paul Huff Parkway at the Rite Aid at 10 p.m. Thursday night. Officials say the suspect is a white male driving in a white truck. If you happen to spot this person, call 423-476-1121. If it's going on in the Tennessee Valley, it's going on Hot News Talk Radio.
Hot News Talk 1240.
So possibly, though I'm not sure, you could probably put Chad Ochocinco up there in the pantheon of fools in sports history, though. I don't know. Goofy, foolish was kind of always his act. It was always kind of his act. Now, the thing that he wound up doing that I thought was foolish, and that he would probably admit is foolish too, is his final season in the league, and he says, after the fact, it was going to be his final season in the league. He headbutt his fiance, right? And it's been, it was on Hard Knocks, on HBO Hard Knocks, the documentary about the Miami Dolphins. That was the season. If you want to go check out like how that all happened, it was going to be his last season anyway. He was good on a team of wide receivers that wasn't very good. Okay, he wouldn't have probably started on any other team, but he might have started for the Dolphins because they were just that bereft at wide receiver that season. But it was weird because Chad Ochocinco looked like he was getting himself together there, and he looked like he was on the right path, like he was mentoring other players. Everything seemed to be lining up for him after an entire career of more or less showboating and gloating and dancing and talking. He looked like, okay, he might be the mature one in the room. Sure, he had a potty mouth that sailors would be impressed of, but at the same time, he looked like he was heading the right direction there, and then he headbutts his fiance, ruins the whole thing. The team has to release him. They release him on HBO Hard Knocks, and what is possibly one of the most awkward things I have ever watched on television, in which Chad shows up to the room to meet with the head coach at the time, Joe Philbin. Joe Philbin is going to tell Chad Ochocinco that he's going to be let go, and he sits on his awkward couch, his leather couch with first off, his shorts are way too short for just anyone, not let alone a man his age, in his late 50s. Like, it just was weird. The couch is leather, so it's squeaking as he nervously rocks back and forth. He's drumming his fingers on the arm of the chair, and you're sitting there watching this going, could this be any more awkward, watching a person get fired by another person who doesn't look like they should be capable of firing them? It was just awkward. Just pure televised awkwardness. I have never seen anything look quite that bad. I could. It's up there with one of my least favorite things that I may have ever watched. Okay, and I have watched a lot of terrible things on TV. And if you watched any of How I Met Your Mother, you've watched a lot of terrible things on TV. I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding. April Fools. But seriously, I thought that he was heading in the right direction. And then he headbutted his fiance, derailed his entire career, finished out his last season in Canada. So that wasn't too bad. And I suppose he's happy now. You hope he's happy now. But possibly one of my favorite fools in sports. And this is not an obvious answer to this question because they say that you can't have wrong opinions. Okay? I disagree. If you have opinions that are not based on reality, if you have opinions that are not based on facts, you can have wrong opinions. Okay? If you have an opinion about a fact, then it can't be wrong. Fact. This was a movie. Opinion. I liked that movie. You can't have a wrong opinion there. Fact. There was a movie. I haven't seen that movie, but I don't like that movie. That's a wrong opinion. You have an opinion that is not based on anything. That is not based on the reality of that movie because you haven't seen that movie. Okay? Where I'm going with this is ESPN analyst Danny Cannell hates the SEC. We talk about owning stuff all the time. He hates the SEC. The things that he says about the SEC and all of the schools here, it doesn't matter. The way he talks about Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, Mississippi State, like all of them, he just hates it, but he won't admit it. he says things all of the time like, I don't hate the SEC, but your track record of words would be to the contrary. No. He said, quote, I thought your first question is going to be, why do you hate the SEC? I don't know how, really. I got pegged in this position. I can assure you I have nothing but the utmost respect for the SEC, and I love the product they put on the field every week. I'm not going to deny the SEC is the strongest conference out there. My biggest argument is that the gap is smaller than most people think, which that's a fair argument. But when he talks about the SEC, he doesn't like that people use the argument that the SEC is the toughest conference out there to say that one SEC school might be better than any other school in any other conference. But you'd have to, because if you took that school out of the SEC and put them in another conference, they would wreck shop. Okay? You've seen the struggles that Arkansas has had in the SEC. Okay? And they still had a couple of years back like 10-win seasons, back-to-back 10-win seasons. You put that team in another conference, do they go undefeated? Maybe. You put them in the Big 12 where they don't play any defense. Maybe. You know what I mean? Like the Pac-12 is tough. There's not as big a gap there as the SEC and everybody else. But you put Arkansas in the ACC. You're telling me they don't do better? The Mississippi State in the ACC playing last year's version of Florida State, they don't do better? No, not at all. Okay. I guess. Like Clemson, you take Clemson out of the ACC and put them in the SEC. Are they still great? Yeah. Yeah. They were in spitting distance of winning the national title game. Okay. But this idea that they come through nearly as clean from the SEC, that's ridiculous. Okay, and I understand the ACC is improving, right? Like North Carolina looks like a real, actual football team these days. Like I see it. I do. But it's still the weaker conference. Okay, Boston College is not a match. You know, it's just interesting to me. The gap between the SEC and the other schools, it's not as big as a lot of people would think, but it exists. That is a fact. And denial of that fact is to have an opinion not based in reality, which Danny Cannell does not. And that would make him, in my opinion, a fool in sports. But what do you know? I have the same job that he does, and I gas bag too. I'm just some guy. Okay? I'm looking at his quotes, but I listen to what he says. Okay, I'm listening to what he says on a regular basis. Okay, I do think that he's good at his job. I just think that when it comes to how he talks about the SEC, if you're going to say out of one side of your mouth, I don't hate the SEC, then the words coming out of the other side of your mouth need to be based in the reality of how tough this conference actually is. Okay, you just have to. If you're going to have a realistic opinion, one that is not wrong. It is possible to have a wrong opinion. You're listening to AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. It is expected to rain later today, so make sure that you are safe off the roads this Friday evening. Also, if you'd like to get your voice out there, like to get your voice heard, have you ever thought about radio advertising? Make sure that you email Hot News Talk Radio, AM1240sales@gmail.com is a great place to reach us. You can also email me personally, KeonRose@gmail.com, if you'd love to talk about emails and advertising and figuring out our rates. Get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you and help you get your message out to the world. So we're talking about big fools in sports, and I've got a couple more. Okay. One is, this isn't going to take very long to talk about at all. It's Russell Westbrook, a guy who is fantastic. Russell Westbrook is up there with some of the best athletes in sports. Okay? Some of the best athletes in sports that I have ever seen in my life. Russell Westbrook is there with I watch a lot of hockey. The Caps are my team. Alexander Ovechkin has done some things that I cannot understand how you can do that and do that while skating. Some of the stuff that he does. I don't get it. Sidney Crosby's there too. That's scary to me. What they're able to do while skating. Okay, the skating is something that I find enjoyable and fun, but it is not my forte. I can honestly tell you that. But I love what they're able to do. Cam Newton is a freak athlete. I've never seen Cam. Some of the stuff that Cam does playing football, we'll probably never see any again after Cam's done playing football. Like, he is freakishly athletic to the point where Cam Newton for a while was not a great quarterback. He developed into a great quarterback, and his freaky athleticism gave him the opportunity to develop into that while he was still a bad quarterback. Like, he was still scoring on pure athleticism. You know, we talk about it all the time that guys go from college to the NFL, and that athleticism in college doesn't translate to the NFL because guys are bigger, stronger, faster. And Cam got to the NFL level and kept doing the same stuff that he was doing in college. Okay? Like that crazy run that he had against LSU after Thanksgiving that one time. He's done tons of stuff in the NFL that looks nearly identical to that. Okay? It's absurd. Russell Westbrook is right up there. Because every time Russell Westbrook goes to the basket, understand that most guys will go for a layup because that's just easier to do and consistently do. Russell Westbrook goes for the dunk because he's just got that explosiveness. It's insane. And then he dunks on the rim like it's offended him. Like he wants to hurt it. Why is Russell Westbrook one of the biggest fools in sports history? To me, and mainly not just history, just in the world of sports at this moment. It's that wardrobe, okay? Russell Westbrook wears some stuff, man. And I implore you, please, Google Russell Westbrook clothes. I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now on my computer. Because it is the stuff that Russell Westbrook chooses to wear. I cannot co-sign that, my friends. That is, it's a combination between something that you could have found in TJ Maxx and Plato's closet and whatever your grandma's couch is made out of. The clothes that he's wearing, and he's not wearing it to be silly or ironic. He legitimately thinks it looks good, which is foolish. I'm going to try and describe the first thing I see when I Google Russell Westbrook and clothes. Okay? This is the Google search. The first thing that came up. I don't know what this is. It's he's wearing a oh boy. It's a long blue peacoat situation, tight orange pants, a turquoise, purple, and yellow 90s Cosby-esque sweater, and some really nice shoes. Also, his socks are turquoise. So I cannot I can't get along with Mr. Westbrook and his clothes. Here's another thing of him looking like Where's Waldo in a tank top. I don't know what this is. I have no idea how to describe it or how. And this just maybe speaks to the insane confidence that Russell Westbrook has in himself as a human being, that you can put this stuff on yourself, look at yourself in the mirror before you leave the house, go, yeah, no, that's good. I like this, and leave the house and get dressed in a similar thing tomorrow. Because I have problems with clothes, right? Like I wear clothes. Okay. I'm not a fashion savvy person. I try and read stuff and learn stuff and be relatively fashion conscious because I live on Earth and I talk on the radio for a living. And when people see me in life, what I would like them to see is just a person that like knows what they're doing in their life. My usual go-to is t-shirt and jeans. It's very hard to get that wrong. It's very difficult to get that wrong. I'm not trying to overwhelm the world with ridiculous fashion sense, okay? With that said, I have had moments where I have looked at myself in the mirror before I left the house, thought this looks fine, gotten outside, and then realized, okay, maybe this isn't fine, and I start to feel embarrassed and self-conscious, and I want to go back home. Russell Westbrook doesn't have this, because if he did, he wouldn't keep doing it. He keeps doing it. And he's got zero problem with it. Okay? And understand that a lot of the people that I am calling fools and accusing of being fools, by no means does this mean that I don't like them. By no means do I think that in real life they're foolish people, that they make foolish choices. Just that the choice of that particular sense of style is that is foolish to me. Okay, this is my opinion. It's foolish to me. I'm looking at Russell Westbrook right now, wear pants that are tight on the legs but saggy in the middle, in the crotch region, and then wear a tight shirt that's sleeveless that looks like a Rorschach test with a zipper in front. What is that? That's not clothes. Is that clothes? Okay, I don't know what I'm looking at. Like, it looks like one of those things in one of those fashion shows where you know that the design of that clothing was for a fashion show and for nothing else. Clothes that you design in fashion shows are not designed for people's actual real lives. They're just not. It's experimental. Sure, ideas and elements in those clothes may, in 5 years, pop up in the clothes that your kids are wearing, much to your chagrin, but that's not clothes designed for regular people to just be wearing on the street. And Russell Westbrook is wearing it on the street. And I got to tell you, I don't understand it. It could just be me, right? It could just be me, but I don't follow it. The things that he's wearing, these things are not designed for people on the street. As far as you could go, they're designed for Russell Westbrook, but you know, Russell Westbrook. Here's Russell Westbrook in. He looks like a 1920s reporter. He just looks lost in time there. It doesn't look bad. It just looks like he's about a century removed from where he needs to be. He looks like a 1920s reporter, except he's black, so he wouldn't have been a reporter in the 20s. But you know what I mean, okay? I have no words. I used a lot of words to say basically I have no words. I do think it's a foolish choice. Another foolish fashion choice. We did touch on it a little bit like a few weeks back. James Harden and his deal with Adidas, that he signed on with Adidas before last summer to represent Adidas shoes, right? There's nothing wrong with that. He represents Adidas shoes. So Adidas gives you free stuff. They give you free shoes. And Adidas shoes are very nice. I'm an Adidas guy myself. I have 2 pairs of basketball shoes. They're Adidas shoes. That's what I wear. James Harden's walking around with Jordans after signing a deal with Adidas. You can't do that, man. You got to have a little brand loyalty when you're the face of the brand, okay? You're not a consumer anymore, especially since the brand that you're the face of, you don't have to buy shoes from them. You don't have to pay for shoes ever again. They just give you free shoes because you're James Harden. That's it. You woke up this morning and just for being James, you get Adidas shoes. You go on their website, you put in whatever code thing that they have for you, you get free shoes forever. How it is that you are somehow wearing Jordans when you represent Adidas is beyond me. They're your competitor. They're your direct competitor in the marketplace. Come on, man. You got to have a little bit more business savvy than that. Okay? And let's just keep tying this together. See if we can go for a combo. Dwight Howard, James Harden's teammate, also a big fool in sports for a litany of reasons, going all the way back to his days in Orlando when Dwight Howard was with the Orlando Magic and Stan Van Gundy was the head coach of that team. And I stand by the fact that Stan Van Gundy is and was the best coach for Dwight Howard. That system was the best system for Dwight Howard to be in. He reached superstardom and wanted Stan Van Gundy gone. Didn't think he was getting the ball enough. Didn't think he was getting enough touches. There was a team that had Hito Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis and former street baller Rafer Alston, a.k.a. Skip to My Lou, as main pieces that went to an NBA Finals and nearly won. Centered around Dwight Howard. Stan Van Gundy was the best coach for Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard wanted him run out of town. But it's Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's never straight up about anything, especially to the media. Dwight Howard is a guy that wants to be well-liked. He doesn't want people to dislike him, especially in the public eye. And Dwight Howard is talking to the media, about how he doesn't want Stan Van Gundy to be his coach anymore and all of these things. And then Stan Van Gundy walks into the press conference and immediately Dwight Howard changes his tune. Starts talking about how he loves Stan Van Gundy, how he likes being coached by Stan Van Gundy, and it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous and like the most two-faced thing ever and foolish because, who are you fooling, man? Everybody knows already. Just own it. Just own it. Okay? Then the whole thing with Dwight Howard, he went to L.A. That whole thing was wrong, but I actually don't blame Dwight for that so much as I blame the Lakers. If you talk about the Lakers rebuilding, I don't know what they're doing over there in Los Angeles. And now he's in Houston, and he got caught with the whole stickum thing where he's putting stickum on his hand so he can catch the basketball more easily, which is weird because he's got friggin' giant hands. Like what trouble could he possibly have catching the basketball? I have no idea. I don't know. It's the weirdest, silliest case of cheating I have ever seen. You don't need it. I didn't even want to talk about the story when it broke. It was so stupid. And it's very similar to Deflategate, but because it's Dwight Howard and more foolishness, nobody cares. Thanks for listening to Clutch with Keon Rose here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch. I'll see you in 72 hours.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
A few widely scattered showers and storms will move through the nighttime, diminishing late, lows near 60. For Friday, some leftover clouds, but drier, still warm out there, highs lower to middle 70s. For the weekend, more sunshine returning, but much cooler with highs through Sunday staying into the lower 60s. Try Little Caesar's large, hot and ready bacon wrap crust deep dish wrapped in over 3.5 feet of crispy bacon and hot and ready every day between 4 and 8 p.m. only at Little Caesar's. And I'm 12 Chief Meteorologist Patch report.
On AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240. Shake it at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The most delicious and unique milkshakes. How about this for delicious and different? Add freshly cooked bacon to any milkshake.
Is that even legal?
You bet your milkshake and booty it is. Chocolate caramel bacon shake. Coffee caramel shake. All hand blended. Shake it. Down at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Just about any flavor shake that you can imagine. And they are delicious. Get your shake on at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, located in Hickson at North Point. Gun Barrel at the Walmart Center. Downtown 4th and Broad. And in Cleveland at Keith and Stewart.
Sign up today. You want to take these classes. 50% off. Limited time offer. 50% off of all classes at P5 Preparedness. Space is limited. Sign up today. 50% off of all of their classes at P5 Preparedness.
P5 Preparedness on East Brainerd between Gun Barrel and I-75. Look for the Green Army truck, 423-602-2175. Look for us on Facebook.
In the middle of our street. Hi, I'm Sabrina with Sabrina Realty Associates. Now is a great time to sell your home. In our area, inventory is at an all-time low, which translates into higher sales prices. Call us today at 423-499-7780 to set up a free consultation and discuss our unique and aggressive marketing programs. We will provide you with a free market analysis to determine the right value of your home. Call us today at 423-499-7780 or visit our website at sabrinarealty.com.
Our house in the middle of our street. Our house. Money, lots and lots of money. I want to buy in the sky.
On your signature, you can get $150,000. Can you believe that? $150,000 on your signature. Hi, I'm Bruce Krebs with the Entrepreneur Source. There's a program right now that you can get $150,000 on your signature with no pledge of collateral or personal guarantee. Call me at 423-875-5621 to learn more. 423-875-5621. You've been thinking about starting a business? Don't do it on your own. I have a proven track record for the last 13 years, a 96% success rate. I can guide you into a franchise where you will pay yourself through the startup phase with very low or little risk. Call me now. I'm Bruce Krebs at 423-875.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
The GOP frontrunner and the delegate count. Donald Trump gets serious about delegates. I'm Stephen Portnoy. Seeking nuclear security.
President Obama urges more action to head off nuclear terrorism at a Washington summit. I'm Pam Coulter.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jim Taylor. On Wisconsin, the battle cry for Donald Trump. Down 10 points to Ted Cruz in the state that votes next. Donald Trump is buying time on Wisconsin radio stations.
I'll never let you down. Please go vote on Tuesday.
Increasingly worried that party insiders who oppose him will flood the convention floor, Trump met yesterday with the RNC chairman, CBS News senior political editor Steve Chigueras.
Part of the meeting that they had with Reince Priebus was to sort of figure out what is the game. And they clued Trump into it and basically said there's a lot more than just going out and getting votes and getting delegates.
Trump has hired a veteran of the 1976 convention who, as a young man, helped coordinate the floor fight for Gerald Ford. And